Yo, what's going on, you guys? So, after 2 weeks, we finally had the 853 drop, and I have to say, this chapter came out mad early, at least on a Thursday. Uh, that being said, let's start with the cover page. We have Bartolomeo on the cover. I guess we're going to see members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, including Isabella, since, well, we're going to see him anyway, since the Reverie is upcoming this year. But yeah, this chapter was pretty much all about the the information about the Big Mom Pirates and the setup. I think the setup between the reunion between Luffy and Sanji, and so that we got a lot of information about Big Mom, Soul abilities even further. Things are not are going to end well for Brooke. If you look the way she's like holding them. It's like she's holding a teddy bear or something. He's like being stroked and everything. But Big Mom is kind of an idiot because she says, "Oh, I'm sorry for suspecting you going up to the automatic backup box." She's so obsessed with that, and she just I'm glad they referenced the fact that she doesn't want anyone to get to the royal poneglyph as well because it's mad important. Now we do come to find out that Roger was able to get to the poneglyph beforehand. And because he had the ability to hear all things, that's how he was able to acquire the information on what was written on that poneglyph. My question is though, was he able to decipher the poneglyph, or was he able to pass it on to somebody who knew how to decipher the poneglyph? That's something we don't need. That's something we don't know, because if that's the case, Luffy might be able to do the same thing and acquire the information to Robin. I don't know. That's kind of like the way it seems right now. Unless things change and Brooke was able to acquire what was on the poneglyph, but of course Luffy has to see the poneglyph first off. So I don't know. And judging from where Luffy is right now at the end of this chapter, that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen at the end of this arc. By the very end, whether or not Luffy takes out Big Mom, he's going to have to get that poneglyph one way or another. Now, we do find a little bit more about the souls. From Prometheus the sun and Zeus upon the cloud, they're pretty much souls that Big Mom has coughed up from her own soul and given life to them. So that makes sense. And we also find out that Napoleon, that Jolly Roger on Big Mom's hat, is the same thing. And they're kind of like formidable. So that's how they were able to take down Brooke, which goes to show you if Luffy ends up fighting Big Mom, Luffy's going to have to take those out first if he wants to get to Big Mom and take her out. So, but she did kind of praise Brooke because obviously Brooke was able to manipulate the souls of the chess soldiers. So that's how I was able to do that. I still think Brooke could have done that, but obviously Big Mom is on a whole different scale than chess pieces soldiers. So that's not happening. It's going to have to be up to Luffy to at least get some damage on Big Mom. Whether or not he can, that's for you to decide. But I'll say this: if Brooke gets captured after all this, even though Nami and Luffy escaped, that's going to give extra motivation for Luffy to take on Big Mom. Because there's no, as Sanji said, one of the quotes he said in this chapter, there's no turning back now. After he put everything into perspective, and that's what he came up with. But there's no turning back the moment Luffy stepped foot on Whole Cake Island anyway. So, I mean, there's no. What was Sanji hoping for after all this? For Luffy to turn back and go? He should know better than anyone that that's not Luffy. So, and it's obvious that Sanji isn't running because Sanji would have already left. So, is he going to stay behind and try and help Reiju? Luffy was kind of grateful to it. Another thing we kind of find out about the Big Mom Pirates is about, more importantly, Tamago and what his abilities are. It's interesting because every time that Pedro lands a hit, he's able to transform. First off, once he got sliced as an egg, he was able to transform into a bit kind of chick, and then he was able to transform even further. So is that like a Zoan type devil fruit, or is that a Paramecia? Because that's very interesting. but it's like, and every time he transforms, it gets stronger, which is kind of like a reference to Frieza. So I don't know. But it's like it doesn't even matter because when Pedro was like, he's going to be used as a decoy, he just straight up pulled out a load of dynamite and he's ready to blow, I guess, blow himself up in a lot of other people. But he used this opportunity to sneak into the mirror world, which was smart on the part of Pedro. So he's reunited with Carrot and Chopper, and they're going to come. I guess they're going to pop up in a mirror that's closest to Sanji, or they're going to meet up with Nami because one of the mirrors, the figureheads of the mirror world did say there's a woman with long hair running by here with Jinbei. So I think the obvious thing was to reunite with Nami so they can meet up with Luffy because there's no way they can separate in hope. I mean, there could be one-on-one fights, but they're going to have to meet up with Luffy and Nami at some point. And especially with Luffy just bolting out the, I guess, out the Whole Cake Chateau, out the freaking window. Now that's kind of foreshadowing. I guess they're going to meet at the place that Luffy refused to leave at when he said, "I'll only accept cooking from Sanji." So, and the thing is, was even Reiji was like, he's offering to feed Luffy, and Luffy just straight out said, "No, the only thing I'll eat is from Sanji's hands." So that's cool. Even though it's what kind of got him in that it captured in the first place. So you take the good and the bad. So then, well, what more can I say about the information we got about Pudding? And it's not that surprising, to be honest. But the thing that caught my attention the most was when Brooke, I guess Brooke now sees that Pudding, and I don't know why Brooke is like, "Oh, I don't need that Big Mom to know that we're that us and Pudding are associated with each other." I don't know why that's a thing now, because considering the fact she tricked all of them. Now, the Three Eyes, we come to find out that Pudding is part of the Three Eyed tribe, which makes sense. But the thing that caught my attention the most was she's only a half breed, so she's not. She is the. Big Mom did say, now we have the ace in all because we're able to have somebody who could hear all things. So my first is that Pudding with a third eye, and that's is that another reason why she doesn't open a third eye all the time, because she's only a half breed, and if she has the ability to hear all things, that could prove most interesting for two different people. Let's say, for instance, by the end, I'm not saying there's going to be a turn or anything, but I could definitely see. Let's say Pudding gets the shit beaten out of her by Nami or somebody. Let's say that by the end of this arc, when everything's been done and resolved, Big Mom's gonna have to be taken out care of first. There's a small possibility. I think Pudding might see the light and kind of switch. I know. I said I don't see a switch happening. At least before the wedding, I don't see a switch happening. But I do see at the end, because you can kind of see like, oh, the Three Eyes is all that Big Mom's really interested in, and we heard Pudding say she's kind of sick of it. So I don't see her being allied with the Straw Hats unless and Luffy has this knack for winning people over anyway. So Luffy might be able to do that, and if Pudding is able to acquire that information, that could prove huge for Luffy on what's on that road poneglyph. That's one prediction I have. Another is, I mean, Luffy could do it himself because he has the ability to hear all things, but Luffy has to understand what's on that poneglyph in order to make sure that Rob is able to decipher it. If Luffy can't understand it, who else is going to be able to do it? So that's most interesting. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think there's a possibility there's a double turn in the making with Pudding? I know it's one turn too many, but it's like at this point, unless Luffy can really understand what's written on the poneglyphs, how else are they going to get that information? I mean, there's a possibility Brooke could get it too, but I don't see that happening now. Again, Luffy has to be at that room to get that poneglyph, and he's nowhere in sight. He's outside the Whole Cake Chateau. Right now, Pudding is the only possibly the only one who could potentially read that thing, but she's a half-breed, so I don't know. It's information like that, though. We come to find out that she's part of the Three-Eyed Tribe. That's very interesting, too. So, I guess there's more of them along the way that we're going to meet, possibly. And is there a possibility that we'll see more of them as the guests at Big Mom's as part of Big Mom's tea party? That's a possibility too. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people showing up. And what more can I say about the end of this chapter? Luffy just running around causing mayhem, of course, but Luffy kind of gets dragged back by Reiju. Reiju kind of lets Luffy know the 411 about Sanji knowing everything about Pudding, the plan to trick him out. But Luffy's like, I have to dash because I have to meet Sanji, and obviously they're going to meet at that spot where Luffy refused to move from. Is that where Sanji is right now? Because he's having flashbacks of really what's going on at Whole Cake Island, the way he's been manipulated, used. He did that, and Luffy said something very interesting too. Is he finally understands that that Zeph and the people at the Baratier are being threatened now. So Luffy's kind of like, if that's the case, then I'm going to protect them too, because I kind of befriended them when I was there too. So Luffy's not going to let any of them die. So to me, that's like giving life for Sanji and Luffy to team up, maybe against Big Mom, and if by some miracle they could take out Big Mom, maybe they can find a way to negotiate with the Vinsmokes. Because who's really pulling the gun, so to speak, on Zeph? Is it the Vinsmokes or is it Big Mom? It kind of seems like it's Big Mom, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I thought it was a damn good chapter to get back to. A lot of information to take in, and a lot of setup as well between the reunion between Luffy and Sanji. So I can't wait for that. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this chapter, let me know what you guys think is going to happen next. Who do you think is going to apply the information of what's on that poneglyph to Luffy? Is it going to be Brook, or is it going to be Pudding? Because at this point, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I can't really predict how things are going to go. It's Oda. I really enjoyed this chapter, regardless. Comment, rate, subscribe. Catch you guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that and everything you do. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.